But for me, there's one key ingredient that a lot of people are missing, and this is why I feel Lamar Jackson won this award in comparison to all the other players in the NFL. What is up, guys? You are tuned into Psycho Pass Shoot Score. Hit that subscribe button if you enjoy any topics around sports psychology and anime. Those are topics that I really cover on this channel, so if you enjoy any of those, hit that subscribe button. My name is Philip Solomon Toure, and I'm a sports psychology consultant working with athletes, working with coaches around the psychology side of sports. And so, as it says in the title, what I'm going to be doing today is talking about the NFL as they released their top 100 ranked players voted by the players themselves. I'm going to be focusing more specifically on that #1 rank given to Lamar Jackson. I'm going to be talking about areas which are very clear, which show that he is performing and playing at that #1 rank level. And I'm also going to be talking about reasons why he actually did deserve that #1 rank spot in comparison to other athletes and players who maybe performed well over the season, who could have potentially got that #1 spot as well. So without further ado, let's unpack it. So Lamar Jackson, quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens, has been dominating since he entered the NFL, taking over the quarterback spot from Joe Flacco, an amazing quarterback, Super Bowl winning quarterback. And so I was a bit unsure. I wasn't sure how he would transfer, but in his early career so far, he has been amazing. A lot of the strength that he has, the physical strength that he has, are very common in a lot of other quarterbacks. The only difference is he does those at an above average level. So some of these kind of similar typical quarterback skills include arm strength, mobility, quick throwing motion, connection with the wide receiver, and poise in running the team's overall offense. And so we can see in a lot of players and a lot of matches, he does possess those typical quarterback abilities, but sometimes you can really just see it's just at an above average level. And so some personal strengths that he has, which are really, really unique to his game and his style, of course, his running ability. Having the ability to make a quick decision to run to either get a few short yards or to just destroy the defense entirely and run for a touchdown. His running ability is amazing, and I think one of the best running quarterbacks in the NFL right now. Another personal strength that he has is his deep ball throwing. He's received a lot of criticism about his throwing, and a lot of people have said maybe he should be a running back due to how many times he runs. But if you actually look at his deep ball throwing, it is amazing, accurate, and it really highlights one of those typical skills seen in a quarterback, having the arm strength, mobility, and connection with the wide receiver. And so that really is a unique strength to him because of how he combines it with his running skills. So within sports psychology, a psychological skill which I've seen that he possesses, and I've seen this through multiple matches, through him dominating and through matches where it doesn't look like they're going to win the match, but he really just turns it on in sometimes. A psychological skill that he really possesses, unique to his performance, is self-awareness. And so what self-awareness really is, it involves being aware of different aspects of the self, including traits, behaviors, thoughts, and feelings. Essentially, putting yourself in a psychological state in which allows the athlete to put his focus of attention wherever he wants. And so with this psychological skill, this allows him to look at different areas of the field and really focus on them, look at different parts of the defense, look at different parts of his own offense, and really be focused on that in order to execute the play. And so I'm not 100% sure how he developed this psychological skill, but for me, when working with athletes in different teams, one thing that I do to really help them develop this self-awareness skill is through techniques such as mindfulness and meditation. And I've made a couple videos on those on my channel, so if you're really interested in that, go check that out. But those are techniques which I really use, and I normally do them within a classroom or just a one-to-one session, and then we translate that to the field. And that translation really helps athletes to be more centered, to be more calm, and to be a lot more focused on the performance that they want to produce. And so with this psychological skill of self-awareness, this really helps Lamar Jackson in his decision-making processes. He has a really good running ability and a really good deep ball throwing ability. And so with the psychological skill, that allows him to make good decisions as to when to run, and it also makes him able to make good decisions on when to throw the deep ball, looking at how the defense adjusts to his running ability, making it so much easier for him to throw that deep ball. And that's why I believe he's playing at a ranked #1 level in the NFL, and he totally deserved that spot. And so with all the physical and psychological skills that I've just highlighted, it's very clear to me why Lamar Jackson was ranked #1, because he is performing at that ranked #1 level, and I'm sure a lot of his peers see that, and that's why he was kind of voted there. But the thing is, a lot of athletes, a lot of quarterbacks, and a lot of players across the league are actually playing at that #1 level, and an argument can be made for a lot of players. But for me, there's one key ingredient that a lot of people are missing, and this is why I feel Lamar Jackson won this award in comparison to all the other players in the NFL. And so, as everyone more or less knows, is that the players vote for these ranks, and they vote different athletes and why they should be in what spot. But what a lot of people don't really know is that this ballot is done in November, around Thanksgiving time. In addition to that, even though every athlete is eligible to make a vote, not everyone does. And I believe through some of the research I was looking at, only around 57% of the league actually voted, which is really good now compared to how it was in previous seasons, but it's still not 100% everyone. Not only that, but players don't actually rank a top 100 and put names down for each spot from 1 to 100. Could you imagine some of the players getting there and thinking, who am I going to put for player number 86 or 85 or whatever? Like, that would be hilarious. I don't think they have the patience for that. And so what they actually do is that each player who actually fills out that form, they basically give a top 20 rank of players they feel should be in those respected spots. And so I know this is a flawed kind of method on multiple areas, but this is what the NFL is using and has been using over the years. And so when you put those aspects into context, things start to look a bit more differently in comparison to looking at the whole season from the first game to the last game in the Super Bowl final. And so looking at that November Thanksgiving time, looking at the performance of Lamar Jackson, he was dominating. No one can disagree, he was definitely dominating. And so taking that into consideration, it makes a bit more sense why a lot of players did put him at that #1 spot. Compared to other athletes who maybe should have got that #1 spot, for example, Patrick Mahomes, he was injured around that time. There was time at the beginning of the season where he didn't perform really well and he missed a couple games. And so factoring all of that in, it makes a bit more sense why Lamar Jackson was ranked #1. Now, if the rank was from match 1 to the end of the Super Bowl final, I'm sure that a lot of people would have voted more for Patrick Mahomes rather than Lamar Jackson. And I'm sure if it wasn't just 57%, but actually 100% of the athletes put in their votes, I'm sure there would have been a lot more people for Patrick Mahomes. And there's definitely an argument as to why he should be #1, definitely shouldn't be #4. But when factoring all these things in, looking at Lamar Jackson's performance around that time, looking at his physical strengths, his psychological strengths, his unique quarterback ability, looking at that time frame of November and Thanksgiving, things become a lot clearer as to why he was picked for #1. And so even though I believe he is performing at a #1 ranked level, hands down, this is one of the reasons why I feel he was actually given that ranked #1 spot at the end of the day. And so there you have it. Lamar Jackson, quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens, has been dominant over this last season, produced some amazing performances night in and night out, and we can really see why he did that through a lot of the physical skills he has and a lot of the psychological skills that he has. And with that combination, that's why I feel he is performing at a ranked #1 level, and he is well deserving of that rank. And so congratulations to him. Of course, there's an argument as to other athletes and other players that should have potentially got that #1 spot. And so with this new information, with a lot of people are now getting with how the voting system is actually done, we'll see what happens next season. And so we'll be interested to see who will win that ranked #1 spot, who will win MVP, who will win the Super Bowl in general. A lot of different things have happened over the summer, over the free agency period. So it's looking like it's going to be an amazing 2020-2021 season. And so I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe for more sports psychology content and anime content just like this. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.